Warrior had a crowd control pre-level 10, I wouldn't hate it. It's just Li Ming, she wants reset. She doesn't want to fight on the shrine because you know the skeletal defender spawn. She can't fling the spells out and hit anybody. Alarak has to get kills. That is just how the hero works. He's legitimately Kerrigan 2.0, but works in a different dynamic. And you press the W, you press the Q. It's a WE. Not that different, but you drag him in and you combo, and that's all you can really do. Li Ming, perfect follow-up. Where's the setup? You need another crowd control. You can't just let base the Li Ming. That Warrior needed to lock them down. And you say, well, Dahaka's got it. He's off on an island. He's not going to be there. He's not looking to be a part of that. That's the one thing, or it's like, I don't think that Naventic, they could get the taunt blow-up dream, right, into the later stages of the game. It can be really easy to punish. But if that Warrior had any kind of crowd control levels 1 through 9, I suddenly go, Naventic could win this game. But now I feel like they don't have enough early game pressure to where it's just like, watch Freedom do whatever they want levels 1 through 9.
Well, let's see it. Naventic have drafted an unorthodox combo for this particular game. We'll see if it can net them a win on Game 3, Infernal Shrines.
I mean, you smell when I'm stepping in here, right? It's not that.
I wouldn't like to.
Yeah, it's not that crazy, though, to just want that Warrior to have some form of a hard crowd control. But, man, we'll see if they have the tools here to be able to figure it out. It's still going to be parry-in build for the most part. One slightly interesting dynamic there is Gilly's dead, I'm pretty sure.
Sorry.
Is, in fact, that we see a level 1 Power Hungry picked up for the Li Ming, going more of the globes. That will give her a large amount of laning phase presence and also pressure up into the front walls. You wait till the globe hits, you get the power bonus spike, and then you go ahead, take out that max range orb on the front wall.
Sorry.
Why?
I had to blow my nose. Thought my mic was muted.
Nailed it.
All right.
In case.
And now Dread dies.
Yeah.
We're fine. We're fine here. Did you talk about negatively charged again?
No, I did not.
Or sustaining power?
No, I was talking about just the Li Ming at 1. Just that she decided to go into globes and the early game pressure that they can try and capitalize on.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Sustaining power, increasing the healing once again from his lightning surge. So not going for extended lightning, trying to build that up. I thought maybe that would mean that we're going to see Alarak more solo, but it's looking more like a 1-2-2 potentially, but they still have an opportunity of rotating around and trying to get picks with that Alarak with the B-Kid charge follow-up.
Combo.
Like that.
That was
Close.
Yep. I just wanted to highlight, you know, take a minute to look at that because, again, it was not nearly as hasteful. If that variant had just been any other crowd control, dead volley, don't even second guess it. And yeah, it works out there, but later in the game, this composition's relying on those picks. If anybody's there to save it, and you also have to remember, post-10, there's more saving mechanics, you know, on the opposite side of the table to be able to keep them alive, especially from the support, who will have the cleanse, Tassadar shielding, and the ancestral. It's just something to keep ahead of because, again, another pick.
But post-10, there will also be better ways of dealing with that too. Once Monster gets to 16, he gets Benediction.
Totally understand the variant post-10, right? But when I look at Alarak, I want early game kill potential because my damage does not scale into the later game. That's where I said that's that hard crowd control. If it's not there with another offensive early game hero, it has to be made through the Warrior.
First shrine is started. Fighting
nice.
over. Oh man,
combo.
that combo went through just about everybody. 2 kills.
Turns out,
hit it.
you just hit a legendary combo. You don't even need anybody to follow up. I mean, pretty much iDream almost 100-0 both of them with that rotation.
The follow-up was there too. And that gives Team Naventic time to try to take out Skeletal Defenders here. Now, it is shortened respawn timers, but with D.Va just going straight up to the top lane, hanging out there, and Vol and Tassadar just now heading back into the mid. Going to give up this shrine. Team Naventic can get the first Punisher. Try to do something with it, Dread.
Am I the only one who feels like human D.Va form in the smiley cloud? It looks like the cloud's eating her. Wait, let's see if he mounts up again. Nah, he's not gonna. We'll keep trying. I'm pretty sure half his body's eaten by the cloud. It looked like the cloud was consuming D.Va, just like Cookie Monster, but D.Va edition, you know?
I'll watch out for that.
It's a concerning
Cookie
world.
Monster D.Va edition.
Naventic here with the 39 skeletal defenders. Clever play.
Did you see too, Nasmus was like sat there for a second as pilot form, knowing where the shrine was like, no.
Yeah, I can't move out.
I'm just gonna mech up. Not worth the risk.
So here we go. First Punisher leaping over here. Again, Naventic has got 3 kills in this game, 0 on the side of Team Freedom so far. But the experience is something we always got to keep focus on. Infernal Shrines is a map that almost inevitably goes into the 20 versus 20. It's a slow-paced game unless a team has amazing macro and pressure, which doesn't look like most of these comps have.
I like the change-up in talents of Team Freedom trying to deal with the composition and the playstyle that Team Naventic has drafted here in this game. First of all, dampen magic, so not with the full slam build, being willing to sacrifice that level 1 talent in order to make sure that he has some of the sustainability, being able to reduce the damage. Oh, Nasmus. Hammer of Justice.
They get it. Again, another pick here for Naventic. Straight up just, you know, maybe they don't need the early game. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out if this is Freedom giving up a bit too much or that you actually just don't. Olarak does that high amount of damage. I mean, I know he's burst focused, right? But like, he straight up into Nasmus was just absolutely chunking here. So maybe I'm wrong, but either way, it's gained a lot for Naventic here in the early stages, and this is what their comp was meant to do. It's just, and it's only going to get better post 10 with the Varian hitting his taunt.
Well, Kala's Light will help with that too. That's the other talent I wanted to highlight for Team Freedom, that instead of getting the increased life steal of Kala's Embrace, in this instance wanting to have the armor to try to help out whoever is going to be that pick target of Team Naventic. But like you said, Dread, Team Naventic are starting to gain a pretty good lead into this game. Almost a level lead as Team Freedom hit level 8.
There's a weird circumstance happening here with the talents right now, with Uther specifically. So we see Hand of the Protection, right? And we just, okay, he went Cleanse, he didn't go Guardian. Look at the other side. Only Stitch's Hook can proc it, except Rain of Vengeance is the one thing that makes me feel like with that many melees on the other side, and if I see that Hand of Protection, I suddenly go, guys, I don't need the Strafe for a battery. Like, I don't have anything to set me up that much, but they have 4 melees, and Li Ming will be up there too, unless I need the AoE, which I don't feel like they really do. I would like to see a Rain as an adjustment to that. Just punish the lack of, again, Guardian of the Ancient King on the side of Naventic. Really just to get it anyway because of a Dahaka too. You know where Dahaka is going to be stalking in next to you with the bush. Being able to lay that down gives you a little bit of time for you to be able to get away back up in time. Oh, Collusion, careful here. He realizes it. Scooting away there thanks to the level 1. Able to move as fast as the mount. But 10's going to be picked up by Naventic. Do we expect any different heroic choices? No. A Divine Storm might be an argument made, but I'm going to guess it's unlikely. Yeah, I would think you'd want Divine Shield because if iDream finds himself right in the middle of the fight, although he does have Counter-Strike, so he sort of has his own protection. Isolation is a bit different. Comster's thinking about it. There is the Rain of Vengeance. Nice. I like that. It's also more follow-up to the Stitch's Hook. Like, I know I can understand moving in the Hand of Protection in this type of composition, but I like the adjustments we see here. Nice combo there. And this Mecha's going to be dropped onto the ground. It's looking to explode, but already Uther is dead before he even got the full rotation out there. Taunt on and Nasmus. Will he get into mech form? He makes it. He's going to be just fine here, Gilly. Ooh, iDream's Counter-Strike and the Silence too almost spelled the end of Zugrug, but Ancestral Healing connected. Zugrug stays alive. Big combo from iDream again, but all it does is take Nasmus out of mecha form. Team Freedom wins the fight, 3-0. They're going to win themselves a Punisher too. This is only the 2nd shrine that we've had so far. We see D.Va rotating out, getting the side soak, because again, on the 2nd shrine, 1 and 2 are essentially the thresholds where you go, we don't want to push with this too much. But typically that's because levels, not actually because the strength of the Punisher itself. If you stalled out the game long enough for 11 to be with the secondary Punisher, I wouldn't have a problem seeing you all in, just because you have heroics, you have kill potential. Look for a flank way in here, but D.Va is going to remain in the mid lane for now. Punisher goes over though. B-Kid's caught out a little bit. We see the Rain thrown down there from Cure. Yeah, and that was great because it gave time for Zugrug to rotate around the side and slow Varian down even more with the Putrid Bile. But
Varian still gets out, the rest of the team more focused on being able to take out the first fort of the game going down as Naventic clear out the rest of the Punisher. And really, with that one Shrine fight going so well for Team Freedom, they've been able to take control of this game, get ahead in experience, and get back to where they feel comfortable versus Naventic in the series.
They've even managed to get that fort before Naventic has. Even though Naventic won the first Punisher, they have a global side soaking the entire time. The Dahaka pick has been in all 3 games for Naventic. Zuna's been there on every single time. And I just feel like I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not down on Dahaka by any means. I think it's an amazing hero. It's just Naventic is not at the stage where, because they aren't getting value out of the global sense. And even though Zuna is soaking, again, when they're forcing fights with 16 without everybody selecting the same talent, things like that, that suddenly the Dahaka isn't as impactful, even though Zuna oftentimes is rotating to the proper lanes. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. They're doing a lot of things nearly right, but it's not enough to be worth the first pick 3 games in a row for me, for this team specifically.
Well, all the way back in Phase 1, Team Naventic had trouble trying to keep up with the soak in the game, especially when we've gone even more macro-focused toward the end of Phase 1, and Naventic's way of being able to counter that was to make sure that they were drafting a global, things like Falstad focus and then the Dahaka focus. For Zuna to be able to shot call, put him on Dahaka, he can choose when they're going to engage. Maybe it's just that he's stalking maybe a little bit too soon where he thinks that they're able to get the fight. Maybe that's what it is, but
he's also had a high burden on him moving into the isolation multiple games, right? So I mean, that is something also we have to consider.
That's true. Zugrak's been caught. This is good for Naventic to be able to get this kill, even using Divine Storm to get it. Team Naventic firing back.
They are, and they've got a Shrine up in 26. But, you know, I hate to say it, Gilly, Freedom's actually going to gain more out of this than Naventic is by getting this fort up on bottom. And because the death timer is so short, they're going to be at most a 20 advantage. That is long enough where Freedom should be able to make the transition up and be able to deal with them. It's just, will Naventic get a value? Again, was Zuna on the side, looking for that Dahaka soak.
And Stitches didn't use his heroic ability there. It wasn't a panic bile even. So keeping that for Zugrak now lets Team Freedom come in with all of their heroic abilities. B-Kid's watching out for the rotations.
Yeah, that's something. Hello, Dansky? I would like to see your passive here, please. Or the sad face of the cloud, forcing the dimensional shift, but the taunt onto Stitches, not the person that B-Kid necessarily wants to hit. Zuna on the backside, receiving the pressure there from Cure. Rain of Vengeance does not land, and there is the drag moving him in. Alarak combo comes out, hits 2, and the Mecha's here.
Right on top of the Shrine.
Got him.
Takes out Dahaka, pushes away the rest of Naventic. B-Kid in danger of losing his life. Team Freedom will take that out. Thank you, Naventic. 2 kills and a Shrine.
Cure, I know there's been a lot of hype behind Cure, but I'll be honest, I was the first dude to walk up here and be like, I'm over it. Like, you know, anytime somebody tells me something's gonna be good, I'll be like, I doubt it, right? It's just, I feel like I've been baited into too many things for too long, especially when it comes to like a community perspective. But
you don't wear your heart on your sleeve.
I know, but I'm gonna say, Cure's, like, specifically the Rain. The Rain movement is something I didn't think a player this new to HGC NA would make a adjustment in the middle. I just, maybe they didn't intend to. It's like the Stitches follow-up, and that's where I'm like, maybe it's giving them too much, but either way, he's done a lot of things right, obviously, on the Genji, and he's doing a lot of things right here into this game as well. I think he's got a bright future. At least so far, he has put up a very good argument for his stay here in North America. And, I mean, honestly, I'm now kind of sad we didn't have him during phase number 1 because I feel like he's making a huge argument for the newcomers, the new blood of NA.
Well, you knew I was hyped to get him into HGC. Really excited to see him play with Team Freedom as well. Team Freedom is a team that had a lot of growth throughout phase 1, especially considering that they were the even in death, kind of. They had a couple of players who had been in top 8 teams before, but they had a lot of new members as well. And to see the growth that they've come in with and then not really have too much uptime, right? Once they brought in Cure 2 has been especially impressive. Their drafting has been impressing a lot of teams here at the HGC. It's been impressing us too. Freedom's looking good to take this series versus Naventic, but it's not done yet. What does Naventic need to do to get back into this game?
Well, now they've hit the 16 mark, tracking. Hold on a second. There's no way. Okay. So Dansky gave up that kill. So so when you press your passive as a tester onto that gank, you press it when you know you're going to reveal the target midway through the back. If you're Zuna there, do you back up or down? Like, let's be honest, you know the gank has to come down. There's no world you back there. If Dansky waits 5 seconds later, pops it, maybe they have a chance of getting it, but he immediately revealed by making that transition out. Weird stuff like that in ganks, anytime we can see it. Look at this beautiful party shrub. But for Naventic, on that note, how do they come back? Exactly this. I would like to see it in something that is on the absolute opposite side of the map. This is one thing where I feel like we don't have a lot of an NA anymore, and granted, it's kind of a Hail Mary play when you go for it, but just when you're looking for the desperation and you know you need a fight, you know your opponent's going to wait for the proper window, don't just take hope we can get a fight. Take one where they just don't expect you. Like, it's insane for you to be there, but like, you're asking for your opponent to make an insane fight if you're fighting at the halfway line. Like, standing there and being like, will you please cross? And so we can get a pick. Like, you know what I mean? You're essentially asking them to make an equally radical choice.
Yeah, that's why Fnatic started impressing people for so long. Is
they would just
their
be
ability to play with vision and show up in all sorts of weird spots, and then their ability to manipulate so that they were forcing their opponents to walk through the very spot where it wasn't expected for them to be, and then they were able to get kills off of it.
Yeah, they just kind of give you the old bait and switch whenever they possibly can.
I was really excited to see Tempo doing some of that yesterday in their series versus Gale Force 2, seeing some party pushes from them. But now Naventic has a Shrine as a possibility to fight over. Hits a combo on 2. Nasmus going to boost in and pull back B-Kid.
On the Varian there, dropping the banner too, easily cleaned up.
That is the banner of Stormwind, so it gives movement speed for those kinds of situations.
So Naventic is forfeiting the rest of this by having Zuna off on the side soak. But I want to know for what. The only argument left is the 20 power spike. Or they're going to force with this Punisher, but the Punisher's going to come in alley-oop in like half a second. Why now?
Self-destruct. Hook pulls in iDream. Has the counter-strike. There comes the alley-oop on top of Tomster. Throws down Divine Storm, but Alarok's already out of here.
And look at the trap. Just there's nowhere to run because Naventic took essentially the most risky fight. I say that a lot, but I mean like absolutely the most risky fight I think I've ever seen chosen.
Wasn't it Naventic who fought without heroics? Like,
yeah. No, it's straight up.
Yesterday?
Naventic was the team, not even just yesterday. I mean, even all of phase 1. Think about how many times I was like, look at Naventic's down a whole level pre-10 and they aren't even soaking. They're trying to force a extremely insane team fight. But that was a more realistic one, which is why it made it so confusing, is because like you could have just waited till you cleared the Punisher. You could have fought any of the skeletal defenders before. Why take the one for when it spawns?
Was very weird. But Team Freedom did what we would expect them to do there, which is take out Naventic, they wipe them, and they win the series.
Man, it's just, I could see the argument because the Punisher moves down and he doesn't actually gain vision. I know that sounds weird. He doesn't gain vision because the Punishers have to see things on their own. The objectives have a vision range, and they need to see them before they can actually gain aggro. You could move that cove. You can fight up in that cove away from the Punisher, and it actually never get baited as long as you don't give it the proper vision. But if your opponent at any point give it the vision, which you saw, the minute it sees a guy, it goes, oh, my coding says my cooldown on my leap's up. I'm going to punch some kids. Like, and just flew in, locked it down. Man. Naventic is known to have moments of panic. They are in the past, but I've never seen one where it's like that insane. We've seen 9 into 10s, but I even understand those ones. The emotional side of it, I get it. But that one, that was the one where it's like, my goodness. But either way, Freedom got a well-deserved 3-0 here in the series. They ran a cure, making flashy plays left and right, adjustments in the middle. I had a question I needed to remember to ask them, right?
How you changed up your drafting so well.
Yeah, how do they shift their drafting? And then also, if it's Cure, remind me to ask about Reign of Vengeance. If he did that intentionally or they were going to do 100% no matter the stitches. Because, I mean, they needed to follow up. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with remembering questions, so I would literally get in the middle of the interview and be like, Gilly, I asked something. Can you help me? I might end up doing it either way.
That's why we have notebooks. We write things down.
You know, don't write.
That's why I have notebooks to write things down.
When I was hosting, I was all
kinds of...
One
of us does this job.
I was all kinds of...
You do. You have to take notes.
Look at that.
I'm so proud of you.
And learning from the best here.
You did a great job.
brush the shoulders off. You know, it's just that's the series, man. Naventic. I have so many questions. I'm honestly going to probably go back and dissect those replays on my own for me to just be like, am I missing some weird, you know, clever? Because sometimes that is actually a thing where a team makes a new discovery that nobody else actually knows. I mean, I don't think this is the case, but for the sake of benefit of the doubt here, there is moments where it's like they've learned something nobody else has, so then suddenly they're doing something that seems idiotic, but then if you don't see the answer right away, I mean, my first thought is sidewalling on Inferno Shrines. When Inferno Shrines released, nobody took sidewalls. They were just like, why would you ever take out this random wall for no reason? And then it was like, oh, you can take out the Punisher. Like, you can follow up on it. MVP Black's like, yeah, it's pretty neat, huh? This is pretty crazy. Like, and so it's just one of those things where maybe they're onto something with like that rotation that I have no clue, and I'm an idiot for even second guessing. But
I'll be honest. I'm gonna ask Freedom about that fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know who we have?
Well, I heard it, but I missed it because I'm a good host.
Nailed
it.
it.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Freedom to get on the line. Freedom, man, they look really good, though. In all honesty, Tomster talked about Freedom trying to figure out where Cure fits in with the team. We saw him more toward range this time. Obviously, Dahaka was highly focused on by Naventic, but when he's not on Genji, then we've seen the Li Ming now, not so much Dahaka, even on Tavala, and that does seem to be more so where he is starting to head toward.
Yeah.
And they have the capabilities of being able to flex like that too. Dansky has played so for the entire time of Phase 1, back and forth between ranged and melee. So if they feel like that is where Cure will be able to shine and do work for the team, then they have the possibility of being able to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, it's just I always get scared when looking at that kind of flexibility, especially for younger teams, because it goes like, where's the breaking point, right? Again, the 4 flexes and Aka argument of Guild Force Esports is like, yeah, always within the region. How far can that move up? I do think that some cross-breeding between the actual hero pools makes a ton of sense. I was going to say pollinating, but it didn't work either. I don't know. But either way, you know, some kind of crossover is absolutely necessary, but too much is a huge hole in a draft. So it's just, I guess, more tread lightly. It's a balance beam that I don't always like to be on the wrong side of here.
Well, let's ask Nasmus about it. Hey, Nasmus, congratulations.
Hey, big thanks, big thanks.
No problem.
What's up, guys?
Not much. Got to cast your match. It was really fun. Just doing our jobs like you're doing yours. I wanted to ask you to kick things off. We've now seen Cure play Vala. Are you guys making any adjustments to maybe where you initially planned on having him on the team role-wise, or are you guys still just doing what you originally had come up with to do?